Standard corporate strategy is a discipline of clear returns and calculated risks. You move when the math makes sense, ensuring every dollar of capital expenditure is matched by a predictable path to profit. In 2026, that caution has vanished. The world's largest technology firms are deploying capital at rates that ignore traditional strategic logic, fueled by the massive advertising profits currently flowing through their existing ecosystems. This chart highlights the scale of the anomaly. The projected 2026 surge in AI infrastructure spending isn't a standard increase. It is a total departure from the historical baseline of tech capital expenditure. The force driving this departure is the pursuit of artificial general intelligence. This isn't being treated as a product launch. It is being treated as the inevitable next phase of the global economy. The fear of being outpaced has rendered the standard balance sheet secondary. In the eyes of these firms, the only risk greater than overspending is arriving second. We are witnessing a specific kind of frontier psychology. When an industry decides a certain future is preordained, the goals of conventional strategic planning are replaced by the raw necessity of the chase. The belief that someone else might reach AGI first has compressed years of development into months. It turns caution into a competitive liability and makes massive financial risks appear like strategic requirements. For OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft, the claim to general intelligence is an existential requirement for survival. If they don't own the interface of the future, they fear they won't have a business at all. This psychological state turns the race into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because the destination is viewed as inevitable, expenditures that would otherwise seem unsustainable are viewed as mandatory. While the focus is often on the boardroom, the actual race is happening on construction sites and in industrial zones. AGI exists as code, but realizing that code requires a physical foundation of compute power that exceeds anything the tech industry has ever attempted. The result is a global construction boom of sprawling data centers and high-density server farms, vast warehouses of silicon designed for the sole purpose of processing intelligence. These systems require more than just chips. They demand industrial-scale power grids and massive energy consumption, forcing utility companies to rethink how they manage local and national infrastructure. The search for digital intelligence is a heavy industrial project. It is physically altering the landscape, turning abstract software into a tangible reality. This industrial effort depends on a globalized labor force and a supply chain of specialized components that crosses every major border. Contributions from Chinese researchers and companies remain essential to the ecosystem, powering everything from DeepSeek's open-source models to the recommendation algorithms used by ByteDance. Geopolitical tensions and export controls are fracturing the landscape into competing US and Chinese technological spheres. These spheres are building parallel, redundant infrastructures, doubling the physical footprint of the AGI race to avoid relying on a rival supply chain. This fragmented global network is the price of the race. The desire for independence has turned the drive for intelligence into a massive multinational construction project. There is a historical precedent for this kind of frenzy. In 1849, the California gold rush functioned as a similar high-stakes economic engine. The fear of being left behind pulled thousands of people and millions in capital to the frontier, forcing the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. The lesson of 1849 is that the initial rush eventually faded, but the infrastructure built to serve it outlasted the miners and provided the backbone for the next century of American commerce. Economic movements are defined less by the prize people are chasing and more by the permanent physical structures they leave in their wake. We are seeing that same pattern today. Regardless of who achieves AGI, the trillion-dollar network of data centers and power grids is now a permanent feature of the world. This architecture draws its long-term stability from the resilient, ad-funded economic core we noted at the start of the race. This data visualization shows a projected 8.9% growth in global advertising revenue. This is the financial engine that sustains the build-out, providing the countervailing force that keeps the infrastructure growing even when macro risks rise. The long-term impact is a global, ad-funded physical network that will dictate geography and geopolitics for decades. The rush is for intelligence, but the legacy is the infrastructure, a permanent physical reality built out of the fear of being left behind.